Hey, hey, here we are, three-dimensional figures. Look at these cool things I built with Robbie's toys. Okay, 3D figures. So I'm gonna try to make this video quick, but I do have a lot to say for you to be successful with these standards, okay? So our goal is to be able to represent 3D figures. And in order to do that, our targets are to recall face, vertex, and edge. And to be able to compare pyramids and prisms. So you need to know the difference between a pyramid and a prism. And you need to know how to identify a face, vertex, and edge, which I know you did learn last year, but we're gonna recall those, okay? So, here we go. Zoom in here. All right, so our cheat sheet. We have vocabulary, which is polyhedron, okay? And a polyhedron is a solid whose faces are all polygons, okay? And in the previous chapter 4, we did talk about polygons, okay? So if you need to go back to that, please do. We're gonna move on to faces, edges, and vertices, okay? So I'm gonna zoom in just a little more for that. A face, you can see, points to the red shaded area, okay? And I'm going to use this as our physical representation. And a face is all the flat surfaces, okay? So this is a cube and it has many flat faces, all right? So that's a face. And you can see that I highlighted it in yellow right there. So you can see flat surface, FF, face flat. Edges are the line segments where the two faces intersect. So if I have my cube here, where two faces meet, here's a face and here's a face, that's called an edge, okay? So an edge is a line segment where two faces intersect, okay? A vertex is the point. So all the points on our figure here are called vertices, okay? So we have faces, edges, and vertices. This 3D figure is called a rectangular prism, okay? Prism, huge concept here. Ta-da! Back it out a little bit here. All right, so we have pyramid versus prism, and this is your cheat sheet, so please copy notes down, okay? We have pyramid versus prism. A prism has two parallel bases. Let's get that out of here. And a pyramid only has one base. There are things called lateral faces. If I use my model here, here's my prism. Here are the two identical bases, right? And they're parallel. My lateral faces are all of the other faces other than the bases. So we have base, base, and then all of these parallelograms are called the lateral faces. Okay? So one more time. I know this is a lot, so I really want to make it thorough here. So here's our figure. I see that these two faces are parallel, so I know they are the bases. And that's why this is called a triangular prism. okay? The bases always tell the name of the figure. So you're always gonna see that there's prism or pyramid, and there's also a shape in the front. So this is a triangular prism. Let me leave it like this. And this is a rectangular pyramid. Think of a pyramid, think of Egypt, right? A pyramid only has one base, and you can see the base at the bottom. There's always a vertex at the top. And then just like a prism, the other faces are called lateral faces. So there's your base. That tells you what kind of pyramid this is. This is a rectangular pyramid. You could have a triangular pyramid, right? An octagonal pyramid. Whatever the base is tells you the name of the figure. And since it only has one base, I know it's a pyramid. Whereas a prism has two bases. Okay, so huge difference. One base is a pyramid. Think it sits on one base. And a prism has two bases, two parallel bases. All right. So I'm going to allow you to look at that one more time. If you need to write down anything, please pause the video. And now I'm going to take you out of here. Whoa. To look at a couple examples. Okay? So we're going to be moving around here. Hold tight. I'll leave that there. All right, so we're going to move right into here. I want us to look at numbers 10, 11, and 12. So here's number 10. And we want to find the number of faces, edges, and vertices of the solid. Sorry, I'm trying to stay still. Okay, number 10 is called a pentagonal prism. How did I know that? Well, when I look at the two bases, right, I can identify there are two bases here because they're parallel. I know it's a prism because a pyramid only has one base. Notice the vertex up there? This is a pyramid. This is a prism. Why? Because it has two identical bases, okay? So now let's go into faces, edges, and vertices. So your faces are all the flat surfaces, your edges are all the line segments, and your vertices are all the points. So you're gonna pick up on a pattern the more and more you do these, okay? Since this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides on the base, right? That makes it a pentagon. So that's how I know it's a pentagonal prism. If I know there are 5 line segments on this base, how many are going to be on this base? 5. So now I know there's 5 plus 5 is 10. And if I go around, I know there are going to be 5 line segments. How do I know that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5, 10, 15 edges. Faces are flat. I have 2 bases. How many lateral faces would I have? Well, if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 line segments, right? 5 edges right here. I know there are going to be 5 faces coming down. Okay, so that's 5 lateral faces plus 2 bases gives me a total of 7 total faces. And then vertices are the easiest. How many are up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, we're looking at the points.
So if there's 5 up top, I know there's 5 at the bottom. So that gives me a total of 10. I know this is a lot. I'm trying to go slow and not overwhelm you. Okay. This one, we're going to go through the same process. How is it named? Well, you look at the base or bases, and it has 8 sides to it. So that's an octagon. And then you need to know, is it a prism or a pyramid? Well, I know it's a prism because it has 2 parallel bases. That's why number 11 is called an octagonal prism. Same scenario, faces, edges, vertices. Doesn't matter the order you go in. Let's do faces first this time. So I already know there are 2 bases. Now I need to know how many lateral faces are going around. The trick is how many sides, how many edges are on this base? 8. So I know there's going to be 8 lateral faces, right? Because there's a face coming off of each edge. So 8 going around, lateral faces, 2 bases gets you 10 faces. A lot of rhyming going on here. Edges, I know there are 8 edges up top, 8 edges on the bottom. That means I'm going to have 8 edges going around. So 8 times 3 gets me 24. Vertices are your points. I'm going to have vertices on top and I'm going to have vertices on the bottom. I know there are 8 vertices on top, so there has to be another 8 vertices on the bottom. So that's a total of 16 vertices. Number 12. This one's a little different because now we're working with a pyramid. So I always look at my base first. There's only one base, so I know it's a pyramid. And then I need to count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So if I have 6, that means it's a hexagon. So this figure is called a hexagonal pyramid. So faces, edges, vertices. Flat surfaces are your faces. So I have one base, and since I know it's a hexagon, that means 6 edges on your base. So that means 6 lateral faces. 6 lateral faces plus your base gets you 7. If I have 6 edges here, I know I have 6 edges going around, right? So 6 and 6 is 12. And then vertices, you're going to pick up on a pattern with pyramids. I know there are 6 vertices down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but don't forget there's always a vertex on the top of a pyramid. Hence 6 plus 1 gets me 7. Look, I'm still doing it. My brain goes too fast. All right, so that's that. And I think we're gonna stop there, okay? Today is really just focusing on identifying. Can you identify a face, a vertex, an edge? Do you know the difference between a prism and a pyramid? I suggest maybe going around your house and showing your parents or your sisters, brothers, cousins, whoever you live with, maybe show them that what you learned today and tell them, hey, this is a prism and this is a pyramid, and tell them why. Maybe even carry your cheat sheet around with you, okay? All right. But let me know if you have any questions, please. And thank you for your patience, kiddos. You're doing awesome. All right. See you later, alligator.